So here we are, the last episode of the relationship series, and I wanted to take some time out to shout out everybody who participated. Shout out to Alex, Larry, Darnell, Kareem, Tremaine, Mike, Royce, Sheree, and shout out to Jasmine for this episode. I had a good time doing this, man, and I hope that, well, obviously I've learned a lot, especially with my last two episodes, even though I've already had those conversations with them before. You still always learn something new when you open up yourself to have those conversations with people. I hope that it helped anybody in any kind of way, regardless if it makes you want to have those conversations or if you learn something from any of the 10 people and you're like, yo, I'm going to implement this more, or I'm going to get better with my communication, or I'm going to, work on how to express myself, or maybe I'm going to stop expressing myself as much. Maybe I'm too much sometimes. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for sharing this stuff with your friends, with your families. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for the reviews. Thank you for the questions that you guys ask me afterwards. So I'm not saying that I'm not going to talk about relationships anymore. It just won't be a series. So there may be some episodes sprinkled in, peppered in every now and then. I tell you what, though, the conversations that I have coming up next are still deep. They're still traumatic, and there's still a lot to learn from people in their personal stories and personal situations. So once again, I thank you to everybody for sticking with me during this relationship series. Shout out to everybody, because I know you guys have blessed a lot of my listeners. You've blessed me, and I just thank you for your time. So we round out this last episode with me and Jasmine. Me and Jasmine dated in 2014. Back in 2014, it was like looking in the mirror. It was like just staring in the mirror and just talking shit to each other. As toxic as our relationship may sound during this episode, we had a lot of love for each other, and we still had a good time. When we were good, we were on point. But when it was bad, and you're gonna hear that in this episode. So thank you guys once again. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to my page, hit a like, help me out with that algorithm, people, and just continue to rock with your boy. Thank you.
I could cut that though. Stop, bro. Stop. Okay. This is episode 2 of my Man in the Mirror series. I have one Jasmine Villanueva here. Villanueva and me dated back in 2014. So that's a solid 8 years ago, man. But at the same point in time, a lot of that was a fun time.
A very fun
So
time.
Let's get right into it. Let me ask you, what do you think initially attracted me to you?
All right. So that's a loaded question, because I think at that time I was very toxic.
What? Yeah, bro, toxicity don't move me.
Right. But what I'm saying is I,
Oh,
I was very toxic and quick-witted. I still am.
Mm-hmm.
And real spicy at that particular time. Like very short fuse. So I don't think I was necessarily looking at that time for anybody who was going to even me out. It was kind of like, let's just put fuel on this fire and just see what happens. So I think that it was your spiciness, because I felt like we were very similar. And I don't know, you just have this like about you. Like this like suave. You think it's very suave. It comes off very suave. And it was even worse when you were younger. Because it low-key came off like cockiness. And it was just like, oh, I like that. But then also we would have these deep-ass conversations all the time. All the time. So I think it was more so, it was the toxic version of me, but also like the version of me that wanted to like dig deeper with somebody.
Mm.
And we were young. Like we were really young. And you're older than me.
A little bit.
So I was younger.
Yeah. I'm 2 years older than you, right?
Yeah, you're old.
Yeah, I was 22. You was 20 at the time, because I remember you couldn't.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Wow.
I was 20. And I don't know. I feel like I was attracted to you because you were attractive.
Mm-hmm.
You had this like cocky, suave arrogance to you. And I always tell you you're arrogant until I feel like you're not anymore. That's my favorite word with you. You arrogant mother.
Hey, if it works, it works though, bro.
So let me tell y'all how I met Jasmine. So this particular quarter, I was down in Florida. I was doing a Disney college program, so I was interning, and I was going for a quarter. Now, when I was going, it was a lot of stuff going on campus, a lot of fun stuff that I was missing out on, but whatever. So she had followed me out of nowhere, just random follow on Instagram, and I was like, oh, okay. So of course I followed back, right? Like a couple pictures, and then you scroll down, found out she had a boyfriend. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever, that's fine. That's how I initially found out about her. So I get back from the college program. She no longer has a boyfriend. Not that fast, but at the time she doesn't have a boyfriend. We was on Twitter, just like, and we would subtweet each other a lot. And what a subtweet is if I tweet something that's about you or for you, but I don't tag you, you just have to catch it. So you have to be reading and be like, oh yeah, he talking about me. And I used to subtweet her a lot, and she used to catch it. So she would subtweet me a lot as well. And I thought that was dope because she's very witty. She's very witty in an asshole kind of way, you know? And so am I. So it's like we understood each other's demeanor without even speaking. We understood each other's comedy. You know what I'm saying? So it was like we was clicking. We were like besties or some shit, because we just talk shit to each other, right? And then I remember I ended up in order to meet her, I ended up inviting her to a party. And we had threw a house party because, you know, it was my last year, so threw a house party for me and my dude. And I was like, yo, you should come to this party. And she was like, no, I'm not going to no party again. You know that shit they be doing. I'm going. Nah, whatever. Because I knew I was about to be in that motherfucker wilding anyway. You idiot. So I go back in the party, I'm kicking it, and then she ended up texting me. She was like, yo, you know, I changed my mind, I'm about to come. I was like, oh, okay. Now, good thing your boy was already looking good, smelling good, and feeling good. You feel me? So she comes to the party. I was like, oh shit, she really came. And I meet her outside in the car, and we start chopping it up for a little bit. So she comes inside. I'm like, oh shit, I'm about to see if she can dance. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't dance. I don't think she danced. Well, at that time she didn't. So I'm standing there, and she knew some people in there, so she's standing around with them. I'm standing around like right next to her, you know what I'm saying, talking or whatever. And she made this comment. She was like, no, because James keeps pushing up on me. Now, I promise you I wasn't doing anything. I'm just standing there, right? So I was like, oh, she must be feeling your boy, right? So long story short, party's over. She ends up going to get something to eat with her friends, and she asked me, did I want to come? I'm like, nah, you know, I'm about to go home because I'm old, I'm tired, I'm drunk as shit. Like, I'm done. Social battery depleted. It was over for me. And she texted me after they was done. What are you doing? I'm not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? So then she came over, and then we chopped it up, had a good conversation. And what was crazy, it seemed like we knew each other. You know what I'm saying? It was one of them conversations where you like, yo, like, what the fuck? Like one of those. Like, man, what the fuck? To be continued. But yeah, that was how I first met her. Yeah, so what attracted me was obviously she looks she was very attractive. Just like she said. I found you attractive because I thought you were attractive, like no shit. So I'm gonna say the same goofy shit. Yeah. I found her attractive because I thought she was attractive. But she was witty. She was a little feisty. At that time I liked feisty women. And she was just mad cool, just mad nice. Like she was feisty, but a sweetheart. You know, if that makes any sense. But
It worked.
Yeah, don't hate the
It
player.
worked.
Don't hate the player. Hate the game.
But then also, you were very much so a safe space at that particular point in my life because you were the only person who was like steadily around, no matter how up and down we were. It was very complicated.
So what do you mean by that?
By which one? Which part?
You said I was the only one that was like steadily around, no matter what was going on at that particular time in your life.
So I had a lot of things going on in my life, family wise. Which I don't even know if you knew everything that was going on because I was just so
crazy.
That wasn't the word I was going to use. But I was really wilding for real during that time. I really was. But there was a lot going on, and I feel like anytime that you were around, I felt like grounded. And it was very hard to get me grounded at that time because there was a lot going on, and my way of coping with that was acting wild.
Spazzing.
And so
spazzing.
You don't have to call me crazy this many times on one episode, James.
So
and let me frame this for y'all. Like James and I, our signature line has always been that we are the male and female version of each other.
Yeah.
So I think that we've grown into that as well. But at that time,
yeah, it's like the worst part. The worst part.
Twin,
yeah, the worst.
The worst parts of us were the same at the same time. Like I was very spicy. I was very like crazy. I'm gonna give you one of those. I will not admit to that again.
For sure.
And you were very cold and very arrogant and just like you had no feelings at all. But I knew you did, which was the crazy part. Because you're a big softie for real.
I'm a big softie?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm a big softie.
You were. Mm-hmm. And I think you might be more now too.
I'm more empathetic.
That's what it is. Yeah. You lacked empathy.
100%. I lacked empathy. But you know, I'm older now, and it is what it is. But so you said you were toxic. Do you want to unpack that? Because you said you were toxic at that age, around 20. But so the episode before this, I was 19 in that relationship, and we talked about all the things that we lacked when it comes to forming a quality relationship. So there was no communication. There was no communication at all. Like I would get mad and not say nothing. Mm-hmm. And then she would get mad and not say nothing. And we would expect each other to fix it. So I was 19, right? So you said you were 20. You were toxic at that time too. Talk about that a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I think that I was looking to fill a lot of spaces in my life. And at that point, and I think really in any 20-year-old young woman's life, like you're unpacking a whole lot of shit during that time. Like, and then you throw romance into it on a campus like Ohio State. It'll drive you crazy.
Yeah.
Like I had honestly, I stand firmly on this. I don't think you should start dating until a certain age because I really had no business being romantically involved with anybody. It just so happened that you and I clicked on a level that I had never at that point felt before. So I was like, that's my fish. And I'm going to fight with you until both of us drown.
That's crazy. That's wild.
I mean, I'm being honest. Yeah. Obviously, that's not how I am now, 8 years later. But at that time, what's Summer Walker say? Something about I'll go to hell and jail about you, boy. That was me with James.
But here's the thing, though, and I respected that though, because as long as you were about me, you know what I'm saying, then obviously I would reciprocate that same energy. So let me ask you, what was I like as a boyfriend? Besides amazing.
You know, I can always count on you to just take the words out of my mouth because that was the first word I was going to
Come
use.
on now. That's what I do. That's what I do. You're welcome.
Thank you. It's appreciated. You were very gentle with me in at certain points in times. Like I had to catch you on the right day at the right time. You had to have eaten the right meal and had gotten enough sleep. You were very temperamental. Like anything could throw you off. Whereas now, you know, I feel like you're a lot more grounded. I feel like we both are in general. But you were very temperamental. But when you were good, you were amazing. Like top tier. That's my man energy. And then when you weren't, it was very temperamental. I didn't really know what to expect from you. And I was very emotional at that time. Just about everything. And I was a crybaby to you. Like, don't let me come to James during that time and be like, I feel like this. He would be like, are you like, why are you crying? And I would be like, why are you so mean? But then it's so crazy because I remember specific moments where after you would like come down from moments like that where I would bring things to you and be emotional in that space. And you very much so would be like, bring your ass over here. Let me rub your head.
I'm a good dude, man. I think
I know, and that's what I'm saying. It was just unbalanced. It was like two extremes. There was no middle.
I agree with that. It was like, so when I was younger, it was like 100% logic, all logic, bro. Because to me, emotions didn't make any sense. Therefore, when we started, dating, and it was at like this different level, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure you say that too. Ain't nobody know how to deal with that. You're like, what the fuck is going on? You're like, what is going on? You know what I'm saying?
It's almost like you didn't know how to process the feelings that you had in the relationship, and neither did I. So I was in love, so I acted crazy, and you were in love, so you act like you ain't give a fuck.
That's the only thing I knew how to do. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I was good at that. So
yeah.
Like, all right. Okay, let me
But it was confusing for me because it's like, how you give a fuck if you acting like you don't give a fuck? But why are we still here? You know what I mean?
Hey, my bad.
It was a confusing.
Hey, that shit was wild though, bro. Because at the same point in time, it's like I wasn't acting like that on purpose. That was just
no.
It was just
I never thought it was malicious. Like I have never gotten. I know that there's been times where I maybe have said mean things to you because of how you made me feel because you were so cold at that time.
Yeah.
But I never actually felt like James is being cold with me because James is being cold with me because he doesn't like me or he doesn't love me or he doesn't want to be here. It was just like James is being cold with me and I don't understand why he doesn't know how to process this in a different way.
Yeah.
Because you're quiet because you're processing, but then nothing comes out and then I'm like, ah!
Yeah.
And that makes you shut down even more.
And then it gets bad. You know what I'm saying?
And then it gets bad.
And it gets bad. Now I'll let you know about yourself. So in your opinion, why do you think that we didn't work out?
I think we were playing the who can care less game, and we both lost.
Cold game.
It's a cold world. It's a cold world out in these streets because we was playing that game for a solid year and a half post breakup.
Yeah.
Like, all right, bet you don't care, I don't care. You don't care, I don't care more. And then it was just like no contact, and then we would like drop in. And then no contact, and then we would drop it. And it was like it was just always there. But I don't know. Do you know what happened? Because I don't know what the last straw was. I have no idea. I may have gotten a boyfriend. I don't remember.
You said what happened?
Exactly. I may have went and got a boyfriend.
So I got tired of arguing with you. I tell you that much. It was one time. It was one time, bro. We was just because I'm not going and you not going. It was just like, all right, what's it? Ain't no
We not going.
nobody's going. And so it got to a point where I remember I was talking to my dude about it, and because at the same time, me and you was butting heads all the time. Him and his girl was butting heads all the time. We was like, we gotta figure out what the fuck to do, because. And he was like, so we came up with this idea. We was like, okay, anything that happens, we just gonna say, yo, this is our fault, and we just gonna apologize for all of it, right? And when I tell you that was probably like the worst decision I ever fucking made, because now I'm like, oh, okay, my bad. Knowing in my head it's not my fucking fault. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like,
Who said it wasn't?
because it wasn't. So I'm like, hey, you know what? My bad. And then you'll take it to 100. I'm like, all right, I'm not about to keep taking this shit. You know what I'm saying? And it just slowly progressed. It is what it is, man. You know, young age, and you don't know how to deal with your emotions. I think that there should be classes taught on that kind of stuff.
So let me explain that situation, because like I said, that was probably the one of the worst decisions I have ever made as a man in my life. Okay, so to break it down a little further, me and my dude, he was in a relationship. I'm in a relationship, and everybody involved, like all parties involved, had these real intense feelings, and nobody knew how to deal with them. Right, so we was topping it up. I said, bro, like me and Jazz keep arguing, like, and it's crazy because I'm tired of it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah, I know I like feisty chicks, but this is too much sometimes, bro, and I'm tired. And him and his girls arguing nonstop too, right? So apparently there's lack of communication going on everywhere. So we was like, okay, how about this? No matter what happens, anytime we get into an argument, we just gonna be like, you know what? That's on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, we gonna we gonna be like, you know what? My bad. Everything, no matter what happens, bro. She could like trip on some gum. Hey, my bad. You know what I'm saying? It's just so. I think that lasted for me probably like 2 or 3 days. I couldn't do it, bro. So mind you, you gotta understand. So like, to understand who Jasmine is, bro, I'm trying to tell you. Cause she just, at that time, bro, we were the same person. I swear on everything, bro. Drake got a line from Energy. He says, "Ex girl, she the female version of me." And bro, that's just what it was. So if somebody apologized to me, the first thing is to be a dickhead. Me like, yeah, I know that was your fault. So, like I said, mind you, I'm apologizing for shit that I shouldn't be apologizing for. So I'm apologizing, and she like, yeah, and I'm like, I can't keep taking this shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, 2-3 days in, I'm like, you motherfucker, because it's like, yo, I'm trying to be like, I'm trying to, you know, bring the pride and the stubbornness down, and I'm trying to be this empathetic guy that I don't even know who that is. I don't know what empathy is. Right? Mind you, I'm on logic, so me apologizing don't even make no fucking sense to me. But I'm like, you know what? My bad. That's on me. She like, yeah, and just take advantage of that shit, bro. I couldn't take it. I said, I'm not doing this shit no more. Worst decision that I've ever made in my life, and I'll never do it again. Now though, the difference, instead of me apologizing for everything, I'm way better at explaining things. So if it's your fault, you will know that it's your fault. I will tell you that it's your fault, and I will help you understand why it's your fault. But I ain't doing that shit again.
Yeah, like I'm just now getting like, and it's still hard because of things that like I've been through personally and other people have been through. Like it's still hard to regulate those things, especially when there's intense feelings involved. And then you throw being 20 years old into it.
And God,
like I didn't know what was up or down.
Yeah.
And then it was right in front of me was James.
What better thing to be right in front of you though than James? You know what I'm saying? I tell you what though, because I was 22, and that was my senior year. So it was not only what I was trying to graduate. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to juggle being in a relationship with high emotions. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
my mom was going through some stuff at the time. My car blew up. Like it was a lot of shit, bro. And I was just mad, you know. And you wasn't doing nothing but you wasn't making me more mad. But when we got into it, bro, I would just be hot, and I'm like, I can't do this. But she ain't going nowhere at the same point in time. You know what
At
I'm
the
saying?
same time, wasn't that crazy? But I
Hey,
really do think we were both just operating mad all day long. Because I was mad about a whole lot of stuff. Again, that I don't even think we ever really unpacked together. But like, I was mad all the time. I was mad at that time at my parents. I was mad at my sister. I was mad at you. I was mad at the fact that I was in Columbus. I was mad that I dropped out of college. I was mad about everything. And then you throw us into the mix and both of us being just mad about life, and then we just trying to be each other's like space.
yeah.
But then we would trigger each other and piss each other off and then just go arguing. But when it was good, it was great.
Hey, we was on point. When we was good, we was on point though. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
On
Yeah,
point.
we was solid. We was solid.
So yeah, when we was on point, we was on point, you know, and that's like, you know, when I'm good, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? It's just like when I'm bad, it's so bad that it's like damn, who is this motherfucker, right? So you almost start to develop this resentment, this hate for your mans, because it's really bad from what I've heard, you know. So I'll explain what I was going through at the time. Now my car didn't blow up. I just say that as an expression for my car stopped working. So in college, I had bought me a Jag. I was driving a Jag. I bought a Jag, a 2001 S-Type. It was black. I used, shout out to them YSP refund checks. They was getting your mans together. So, mind you, I'm 21, 22, driving a Jag, you know, in a fraternity, you know, I'm about to graduate, you know, and I'm that dude, you know, I'm arrogant as shit. You couldn't tell me nothing. My shit didn't stink, right? So got humbled like crazy. Graduation and like a couple months after that, because one, I couldn't find a job, right? So that sucked. Two, I'm working at the Blackwell at the time. They wasn't paying me nothing, so I didn't really have no money. Three, you know, you can tell, I just told you what car I was driving, the maintenance on that. Every time I went, it was like $1,200. You know what I'm saying? So I just told you I wasn't making no money, and the refund check stopped coming. So now I'm broke, right? Skint broke. Capital B, as Mike would say. And my car just started shaking like out of nowhere, and it just wouldn't cut on no more. It cut off and it wouldn't cut on anymore. And obviously I don't know what's going on. You take it to a place like a Tuffy's or, you know, a Tire Choice or something regular that don't work on cars like that. They don't know what's going on. They're like, yo, we normally don't work on cars like this, so we really don't even know. And it just would never cut back on ever again. So that was down. So now that's three. Then my mom was in and out of the hospital at the time. That's four. And then on top of that, I'm sitting here trying to with these high emotions that I've never had before, right? In relationship with Jasmine, and I got all of that just beating on the back of my head, while at the same time trying to navigate trying to express these emotions to this motherfucker who's an asshole. You know what I'm saying? So it's like all of it was so tough and new territory for me, and it got bad. You know what I'm saying? Like all that shit. Because one day you just be like, you know what? I'm tired of this shit. And you just stop with everything. You stop talking to people. You stop wanting to talk about anything. You stop wanting to argue. You just become dead inside. You're like, I'm tired of hearing that shit. I really don't give a fuck. And that's why I say I was all logic and I lacked empathy, because at that point in time, everything that was going on to me is an emotional buildup. So I'm like, well, we got to get rid of that, so I'm not feeling nothing, bro. So I'm stone cold, right? So I get rid of all those emotions. Boom. If it don't make sense, it's not going to bother me. So everything that I thought didn't make sense. So like say an argument was something petty and it wasn't something I thought was a big deal. Get that shit out of my face. That's some bullshit. I ain't worried about that. Yada yada boom. And that's just how I was, because I hated feeling like that. Because when I would get all that stuff and it would just be on my back, you know what I'm saying? It make you just want to get away from people. And so I had to cut that. So I cut the emotion plug that was running through my body, and I was just this android. And obviously that didn't work out either. So now we figured out how to balance both. But before, I just didn't have
We
it.
were really solid.
So what did you do? So after we ended or whatever, what did you do in your next relationship that you kind of learned from our relationship?
I didn't really learn from it until about 2 relationships later. For real.
Yeah, you was definitely toxic.
I think that the next relationship I was in wasn't necessarily, I'm not going to take blame for that one. For real. Like on some like real, like at this point in my life, I still will not carry that burden of that. Because I was with an individual who was cheating on me the entire time and making me feel crazy. Like quite literally drove me to think that I was crazy. So it wasn't necessarily, I didn't take any time in between. What was time? What do you mean time at that age? I was like, time. On to the next one. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Right? And it didn't mean that I didn't care anymore. It was just like, okay, I'm dating somebody else now. But I was in that relationship, and that one, that's the one that broke the camel's back, because he drove me to be, you thought I was crazy with you, James. You weren't even doing anything for real, as far as I know, nothing that bad.
That wasn't. I don't cheat.
So in that relationship, I was driven like homeboy, like intercourse in my bed in my house while I was gone on Thanksgiving break. Crazy shit. So it's like I got crazier with that one. And then after I took the break from that one for a couple of years, I think after that I really started to tone down in general. My tolerance for things became very low, but also my fuse was a lot more reasonable. A lot more reasonable. Like it takes a lot at this point to make me mad. Like I always, people will ask me like, are you mad at me? I don't get mad anymore. Like I'm not mad. I may be frustrated. I may be disappointed. I may be in my feelings or processing, but I don't really get mad anymore. It takes a lot. And I think that took years for me to get to. Because I was just mad in general, just about everything. And a lot of therapy. A whole lot of therapy.
What made you go to therapy? What made you just like, you know what, I might need to look into this?
I had been to therapy when I was younger for a lot of things. But therapy at that point was quite honestly and vulnerably between life and death at that point. That's what it was. So it was like, either I go do this or that's it. So it was truly like, it had nothing to do with anything external. It was very internal, and it was a matter of life and death at that point. So therapy was what needed to happen. And I went through that, and I had like a year off of it and then went back. I'm still in therapy now. But I think that I just started to really weigh what the risks were. And also, I started my businesses shortly after we ended. And I had a lot to lose and very little time. So it really put things into perspective for me on who I was spending time with, what they were bringing out of me. Like, if you're going to stress me out every single day and I'm not going to be able to get work done for my clients, there's no way that I can do this. So I just started viewing things in a different way. Like at that time, me and you, I had nothing really going on. I was working, but it wasn't anything that was that serious to me. So when things really started aligning for me is when I had to look at, oh, bitch, you can't be that toxic anymore. Nobody's about to take that. No, they about to kick you to the curb. And also, you have way too much going on now. So it just slowly progressed and changed. But I will say, right after you, it was worse. It was worse.
Damn. Because I'm the bar. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you set the bar so high, obviously,
Honestly, the bar was so high I couldn't reach it, and so I just had to like limbo under it, and I really didn't know what to do after you let. Shut up.
it's crazy. I'll be thinking the same thing. I'm like, damn, where's she going from here? You know what I'm saying? At the top? No,
It
so
was like this.
so I was reading this book. I read this book called The Way of the Superior Man. I did an episode on it, and it talked about female nature. Now, granted, we can throw men in there too, right? It's either you're cool or hot, right? And I think at the time when me and you was in a relationship, we were both hot, and we didn't know how to balance each other out. Now, with you being in business and me being in business, right? Two hot motherfuckers is not going that's not gonna work, because if I go out here and I'm doing sales or whatever and people are pissing me off, I'm not about to come to the crib and you gonna piss me off too. That's not how it works. You know what I'm saying? So with you starting all those businesses and with, you know, your boyfriend at the time doing all that stuff, you like, motherfucker, like, I'm really about to explode, right? And I think a lot of people don't be understanding that. It's like you need the complete opposite of who you are, you know?
I think like balancing, I don't know if balancing is the word. I like to use the word harmony. Like
Harmony.
everything has to be in harmony. I don't believe it's ever going to be balanced. I don't believe that being opposites in that way, in that capacity, is necessarily a recipe for success all the time. I think there has to be harmony in it. Like I feel like I need someone who will ground me in certain places, but also embrace the spicy that I have. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you're not
Like
your
embrace it, but also ground me when I need it. And so I think that we were so hot at that time that there was no, I don't think you were grounded in any capacity. And I don't think I was grounded in any capacity, because it's a lot easier to balance and harmonize in a relationship when the other parts of your life externally are grounded and in harmony and balanced.
for sure.
We were both all over the place. How do we expect to at our ages especially to find balance and harmony within each other if everything it wreaked havoc everywhere
Yeah.
in every part of our lives. So it was like for us to we were trying to look to each other for peace, but everything else was a mess and it bleeds in. And I know that especially now. That's why I'm so particular about who I spend time with, because you're not going to come over here wreaking havoc on my life and then I go fucking up some stuff in my business.
Facts.
Because as much as we want to say business is business, when you start a company, when you start a business, when you start a venture, when you start a passion project, business is personal. That's my baby. This is your baby. You're not about to have somebody stressing you out every day that's going to cause you to not want to record, that's going to cause you to not want to edit, that's going to cause you to go into hermit mode and not be able to do sales. It's just not doable. It's like a non-negotiable at this point. So I think that's what we were trying to do, is find that peace with each other in that space. But everything else was a mess. There was no way. We had to gather all of that and then come together. And that just wasn't the case at that time.
Yeah, 'cause at the time we didn't even care to fix anything. It was like, all right, motherfucker, you got to deal
Are
with
you
it.
done? Are you done? Are you
And
done now?
that shit is wild, man. So, what's your least favorite memory of me?
My least favorite memory. It's such a blip on the radar, but for some reason I can never get that memory out of my head. And it's not even like this big moment. We were in your room and we were arguing
Of course, that was a daily thing. Yeah.
daily, weekly. We were we were arguing, and I think that I had started crying, but like for real. Like we were at a breaking moment. And I had started crying. And I remember looking at you, and you were just like, your eyes were just dark. And I was like, I don't know who this person is. Like, I don't know who this person is. And I kept telling you, like, why don't you care? Why can't you see that, like, my feelings are hurt? And you were just like, I'm not wrong in this situation. So it doesn't really matter. Stop crying. Why are you crying? You would always ask me, why are you crying? And I would try to tell you, and it just would not register within you. And that night, I remember shutting off for the first time. And I think that's when shit really started, like, crumbling. Because I'll be honest, and I would hope that you could understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the amount of emotion that I came with was obviously intense, but I don't think we would have gotten as far as we did in our connection had I been shut down as much as you were. I just don't. So at that particular point when I shut down, I was like, oh, you really don't care. Or you're never going to get it. I shut down. And I'll never forget that, because after that, I didn't really want to be emotional around you. I didn't really want to, like, express myself around you. And that's when you would always get so frustrated with me later on, because you would be like, are you going to say anything?
Yeah.
Like, do you have anything to say? Do you want to talk about this? And I would just be so shut down, because that night, I'll never forget that night, is when I shut down. I really detached. Not only just from you, but just in general from my feelings. Because that's when I realized I had really big feelings, and it wasn't really welcomed in the space that we were in. Least favorite for show. You really sucked that night, for real.
Hey, I tell you what.
My bad.
I tell you what. Because normally, I would like have a point to, you say this. I'm like, well, wait a minute. But that sound like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, what did you crying for? 100% it's me back in the day. Because the crying, because I didn't know empathy, no emotion. Because the crying didn't do anything for me. I'm like, bro, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is ridiculous. Get over it.
But
And
did the yelling do anything for you? Because
no,
I just never knew how to get anything through to you or to get a reaction from you. That's all I wanted was
yeah,
and it wasn't like I was
doing
being
it.
dramatic about it. It was just the only way that I was going to scream if I didn't cry. And the crying wasn't necessarily that I needed to be crying or that I wanted to be crying. It was that I was so frustrated that you weren't hearing me and we weren't hearing each other.
Yeah.
So I just became a big cry. I was crying all the time. And James would be like, what are you crying for? And I would be like, I hate you. I hate you so much.
Nah, hey man, it was no young me was just a robot.
That boy was cold.
Yeah, he was a robot. He was a robot. But nah, the empathy now I'm too empathetic, right?
I
Like
don't
I'm
think so.
tearing up watching these little dumbass movies and stuff like that. But if that's the same night, was that the same night where where I went to the gym?
I think so.
Okay, so well, let me expand on your story here, right? So you was in my apartment, and I went to the gym. I'm like, yo, I'm about to go to the gym. You're like, okay. So if that's the same night, bro, remember I went to the gym. I'm like, yo, I'm about to go to the gym, and you was like, yo, you about to let me stay here by myself? I'm like, yeah. What you about to blow this motherfucker up or whatever? So go to the gym, and I'm hitting it, bro, because I was looking. Well, I look good now. Young me was on it. You feel what I'm saying? And you text me something. And I'm like, man, what is you talking about? Because at that point, we was arguing so much. It was like, yo, like, not again, bro. Like, I'm at the gym. Like, let me just get this out the way. And he was like, yeah, you better come back before I leave and, leave your door unlocked and stuff like that. I'm like, she's not about to do that.
I did.
You said that. And I didn't believe that you would do that, but it got me out of the gym, So, so now I'm pissed. And I get back, and then the situation happens. And I think at that time, I didn't give a damn about the crying because I'm like, yo, like you wilding. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
At the same point in time, you felt some type of way. And young me didn't give a fuck about how anybody felt about anything. All that shit was illogical to me. It was like, okay, well, how does this make sense? It doesn't, so get over it. And that's how I was. You know what I'm saying? And I think I ain't probably get over that till maybe.
So here's what's crazy. The cool part about this question and how we both answered it is that we're both speaking on the same exact situation at the same time with two different perspectives. And I didn't even think it was going to work out like that, but she said that was her least favorite moment, and it was also my least favorite moment. I think was, when you think about it, I think we both knew that day that we were pretty much done. Because you hear her perspective, and it's like, that's what she would run with, right? And then you would hear my perspective, and that's what I would run with. You know what I'm saying? But then you hear them both at the same time, you be like, yeah, both of y'all was fucked up. So at that point, because I just, speaking from the last video, like I said, all this shit, bro, I was going through all this shit, and so now I'm just mad quite frequently. And I'm expecting to be in a relationship that brings me some type of like coolness, some type of peace. And it's like, that was shaken up too. So it's like, damn, everything's pissing me off. So like I said, I go to the gym, man, and she just started texting me this crazy stuff. Obviously, I don't know what happened. Something happened, and she started texting me this. I'm like, what are you talking about? And like I said, at that point, I was tired of arguing. I'm pretty sure she was definitely tired of arguing too, because that day she didn't come back. But like it was bad, and it's not like we was like screaming at each other. It was just like we was both fed up, and we both knew that we were both fed up, and it's like you both know that was the last straw. Like it was 100% the last straw, because I'm like, how dare you? You know what I'm saying? And she's like, man, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? So it's like we both was just like, bro, because we both held so much shit in, and it was just poor communication. If you have not learned anything from this series, is that if you have poor communication, your relationships are going to be terrible. I had said a while ago, I forgot what episode it was, but I said that I believe that every reason why, the reason why at most relationships, I would say 99% of relationships end, is because of miscommunication. And I said, you can give me any example, and I'll tell you how miscommunication ended up ending that relationship. But you can see from this 10 episode series I got, even from mine, from back in the day. And I don't know, man, this is cool. It's a cool thing, man. Hearing these conversations back, because obviously, like I said, I've already had these conversations. I've already had my conversation with Sheree. I've already had my conversation with Jasmine, so I know these things. But watching it back, while I'm editing and stuff, it's just like, damn, we was really talking about the situation, and we was really fed up to the point at that point in time, and still didn't even know what to say to each other. That's how bad it was. We wanted to rip each other's heads off. But yeah, I was cold, bro, because I didn't care. Like at that point, I was pissed off already. Now I'm leaving the gym early because you bugging. You know what I'm saying? And I get there, and I'm just like I'm hot too, bro. Like I know you hot, but I'm hot to the point where it's like, bro, like I'm disgusted. Like if you about to bounce, then bounce then. Like don't be sitting here talking shit to me. And so like nothing, bro. I'm stone cold in the face. I'm just like, whatever, bro. Like whatever you say is whatever. Just hurry up and do what you gotta do, because I don't give a fuck. And I made sure that the I don't give a fuck was understood, and then she didn't talk to me for a long time after that. And like I said in my episode with Sheree, it was like, once I got over that, now I'm ready to talk. and they don't want to fuck with me. So once I got over that, I'm trying to talk to Jasmine. She not fucking with me. So it was like this loop I kept going through, right? This loop of, yo, something gotta shake, man, because obviously something has to change, or you're gonna keep going through the same shit of, like, y'all have a bad breakup, you mad, so you don't say nothing, then they don't talk to you for a little bit when you potentially could have fixed something. So now it's like the communication so on point with your mans now. I might over communicate now, but as long as the point gets across, it is what it is. But yeah, had to get rid of that loop. But yeah, man, just something to reflect on, man. Y'all make sure y'all go back and have these conversations, bro. It's worth it.
But I will say though, James,
Mhm.
I did start learning towards the end how to conduct a conversation with you about my emotions, which I've actually taken into other relationships with very logical men. Anybody listening? Rennie, you got a cold ass, logical motherfucker on your hands? Listen, you gotta break it down like this. When I started breaking it down like this, James would be like, huh, all right,
Yeah.
I get it. When you do this, it makes me feel like this. I don't really like feeling like that. So what can we do differently? Here are the bullet points of the times you've made me feel like this. I don't understand what's going on here. So here's the logic behind my emotion. And then you would be like, huh,
That makes sense.
that makes sense.
It do though. Like that makes sense. Instead of being like, bro, why is you doing this? I'm like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like when you come at somebody like, yo, why is you doing this? That means it was a whole bunch of shit that was just building up, and now you coming at me with some shit that's not even that big. You know what I'm saying? When in reality, it's the small shit that you've been holding on to for the last 2 or 3 weeks. That's why I'm like, man, bro, you not crying about.
No, I was crying about a month.
It was a
A
whole
month.
bunch of shit. But I'm saying, but if you don't know, you don't know what you don't know, man. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So describe our relationship now.
Our relationship now? Oh, you my dog.
Flat the fuck out. You heard
And
me?
for the record, big dog, little
Oh,
dog.
man.
But, you know.
Oh,
Anyways,
yeah.
our relationship is what it's always been at the core. I feel like. I don't feel like our relationship has changed much. Like, at the core, like, although we had all of those things going on when we were younger, like, at the core of it, I knew I was always there for you. I know you were always there for me. I knew that no matter what I wanted to talk about, we would talk about it. As long as it had nothing to do with my feelings. Noted. As
Idiot.
long as it had nothing to do with emotions, we could talk about it. Which are much better about now. So I feel like at the core of who we really wanted to be together, like we have that relationship now. Like we're cool. I feel like I can talk to you about anything. I feel like you're still an asshole sometimes, and I'm a lot more receptive to it. But not in like a cold way. It's just in our, like, we have banter, we have deep conversations, we have like moments where we have like, oh shit, I didn't realize that. So I don't know. I feel like essentially we went full circle and came back to the core goodness of what we had. Whereas we were so distracted by all of the bullshit we had going on when we were younger. That it's very easy to forget the core, but that's why we stuck around so long, is because we knew what this was. It was just a whole lot of shit that went along with it that really made it foggy and made it unbearable. And I think that now all of that is out of the way and we have the core foundation of our relationship, and I love it. It's beautiful.
It is. It's dope. It's dope. It's dope. What's crazy? What's crazy is, like I said. So this is like what I'm learning from. I already knew it, but I'm saying this for the show purposes. Is that in my relationships there has always been, like, so the relationship is the main thing or whatever, but it's always like 10 other things that's just like out of whack while I'm in the relationship, and it fucks the relationship up. So it's like, if say we're dating and I get a flat tire,
Mhm.
at that time, I'm mad at you. But it's not that like I'm mad at you specifically. It's like all this shit. It's like, yo, my tire's flat, but I'm not gonna tell you about it. But if you say something that I think is like, oh, this motherfucker tripping, I'm hot at you now, but it's not your fault. It's because of the tire. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And back then, young me didn't know how to process that. You know, now I'm like, hey, listen, I got a flat tire. You leave me alone today. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? But I'm better with the communication now. So like I think that's dope, man. That's dope.
And even so, like in that situation, the difference would be you would have been mad at me at that time, and I would be like, what the fuck did I do? Like, what did I do to you? I haven't even talked to you today.
Yeah.
Whereas now it would be like, I haven't talked to him today. There's no way that he's mad at me.
Yeah.
What's going on over
What's
there?
going on? Yeah, flat out.
You
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Because it can't be me unless I did something that I don't know. And at that point, I would think that we would, you would come to me and tell me that because I'm not a mind reader and I'm never malicious. So it's like, if you're acting strange towards me, the question now is not, why are you acting that way towards me? It's like, what's going on over there?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you not okay? Because you're not okay. And I know it wasn't me. I didn't do anything. It's 9 a.m. I haven't even talked to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas, it would have been different before. So I just feel like the processing of everything is just so different now. As it should be, because at this big age, we should not be having conversations like that.
But there are people that still are like that.
You're absolutely correct.
No growth, no work put in. One more. Let me. What's your favorite memory?
Koala.
Those are my deals, bro. Earl's still here, man.
Really?
Yeah, I still got him. That's my son.
Can I see?
No.
Why not? I'm calling you later in your show. You guys. Okay, wait, hold on. James got me this koala bear.
No, I got you. No, the koala was mine. I got you a panda.
Oh, it was a panda.
It was a panda. Yeah.
It was the panda bear, and he got me a panda bear. And James, you gonna tell them what I did?
You cut the head off? No, I don't know. You probably threw it away. But at the time, I don't even think we wasn't talking at that time.
No, we were on terms.
Yeah, and I got it for Valentine's Day. And that motherfucker was just sitting in my room for like.
Did you tell me that that you got that for me?
Probably.
I'm sorry.
No, but like
my bad.
At that time, though, the communication was off because it was like prior to all that happening, you would try to talk to me, and I'm like, "Fuck out of here," right? So now you shut down. So now you're shut down, and I'm like, I'm trying to talk to you, and you like, "Yo, fuck out of here." And I'm like, "What's going on? Nigga, what you mean? What's going on, bro? You know what I'm saying?" So I got this fat ass panda just sitting in my room. But you you finally came and got it, and you gave me my hoodie back because you had one of my hoodies.
We did like an exchange. I don't even think that we did.
But the thing though, with that hoodie, I don't even know why you wanted to keep that because it had my last name on it. Nerd.
Because I'm petty. Yeah.
Legit.
Because I was hoping that I would be out wearing it somewhere and your new girlfriend would see me and be like, why does that bitch have your name on her back? And I would be like, cuz.
I might say keep it. You know what I'm saying?
That was petty. Duh. Like, come on.
Okay.
You know me better than this. That was just straight pettiness.
I know you.
But yeah, he got me this panda bear. And it was just like, it wasn't even about the panda bear. It was just like, you big softy.
What? Bro, I was being a gentleman. I was being a good dude.
Those were my favorite moments though, were when you were like a big softy. Because you weren't often.
Yeah, you ain't get too much of that.
All the moments that you were.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of that going on.
Mm-mm.
Probably like 5 solid moments where I was like, all right, I can. So I didn't tell her. I had got the pen because I told her at the time she wasn't talking to me. And Valentine's Day was coming up. And you know how when you break up with somebody but you don't really know if y'all like done or whatever. So I got her this big ass fucking panda.
and I didn't tell her I got it, but I was trying to try and get her like come through, so I could spring out this fat ass panda or whatever, and she didn't. And then we ain't talked for a long time, and then eventually, she had still had my hoodie, and she was like, "Yo, toxic shit, right? Like, motherfucker, you ain't hit me up to give me no fucking hoodie, you goofy ass motherfucker." But anyways, so she hit me up. She was like, "Hey, I still got your hoodie. You know what I'm saying? I could drop it off or whatever." Shut up. So she came through, dropped the hoodie off. I'm like, "Well, yeah, you gotta take that big, huge ass, fucking dumb ass panda." You know what I'm saying? Just being a good dude, cause I'm a good dude for real, man. Y'all might hear about me being cold and a dickhead in these last 2 episodes, which I was, which I low key am. You know what I'm saying? I'm an asshole. You know, it may sound like I just be chilling, and I do be chilling though. But when you gotta hear me, you gotta hear me. You know, like I said, I'm very thorough with the communication. You know, but so we did a swap, and I got my hoodie back, which is tough because you know they be trying to keep them.
Hey, so I got 9 questions. I got 9.
You got how many?
I got 9, and I want you to pick. So you gotta pick a number. So it's a random question. Got 9 of them. Pick a number from 1 to 9. I'm gonna ask you the question. I need you to be transparent and open, and tie a message to it. Give me a number.
7.
7. Okay. When is the last time you cried?
Yesterday.
What is wrong with you?
And I almost called you
For what?
to prove a point that you were always right.
Okay. I give you that. I am always right. No, but no, go ahead. I'm listening.
When is the last time I cried? Yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the next question?
No, why? What was you crying for?
Why?
Yeah, you gotta unpack that. You're not about to get over.
At the core of it, I was really lonely. And I think I've felt lonely for 2.5 years now. And I think it just comes in waves. And you start seeing like the year pass by. And it's like, damn, I'm still alone for real. Like, that's a moment to realize that. And to come, I think also I came home that night and it was just this weird, eerie feeling when I got home. Like, I walked into the house, it was dark. I was by myself, as usual. It was like 11 p.m. And I was like, how long we gonna keep walking in the house by ourselves? Like, damn. And then I think it hit me that you said fully transparent, right?
Yeah.
Then it hit me that, okay, so what you really want right now, Jazz, is like company. Like, I think you want company and you want affection. That does not equate to sex.
Right.
And then that blew into a whole realization that there was no man in my life who I could call that would come and keep me company without coercing me or convincing me to have sex with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I was like, this is ghetto. Like, this is awful. And I cried all night.
Yeah. And you said,
and then I went to sleep. And I woke up and I ran my business. So I mean, everything's fine.
And you woke up and was like, all right, anyway, back to work. You know what I'm saying?
Back to the regular schedule.
And that's what it got to be. Every day is like, all right, I'm back to work, man. Fuck up. Like, yeah.
I just had to reset.
Yeah, we can have these moments.
Because, I mean, I feel it slightly every day, you know, with little things. And, I mean, it might sound so silly to you, but, like, little things that need to be done or, like, that I may need help with. Yeah. Or you start to realize, like, oh, shit, no, I really am operating in life alone. Like, I barely see anybody. Like, I see my family maybe, like, twice a month. My friends and I are all doing big things and, you know, busy or have children. I'm the only one without them. So it's like, I'm majority of the time by myself. And so it kind of like dangles in your face a little bit every day. And then, yeah, I came home and I was like,
And you said you almost called me to tell me I was right about what?
then I'm a crybaby.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And because the one night that I called you, what was that, like a month ago? Oh, I was so mad. I called you like a month ago, and you gathered me and got me together. So I was about to tell you you were right again. I was really just calling to tell you that you were right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I definitely got you together though, man. What?
What's cool about that part that she mentioned that she had called me one night a couple months ago, and and we was running, we was chopping it up. I'm not gonna put her business out there, but we was talking about something, and I think the cool part about it is not only with her, but like a lot of people reach out to me, and I don't know if they like my advice. I don't know if they like how I think about things. I don't know if they like how I check them, but people be reaching out to me for conversations about specific topics. Like sometimes it's relationships. I'll be like, yo, y'all act like I'm married, but my stance and take on their situations be so objective. It's not like I'm not giving my personal opinion. I'm taking whatever you told me, because obviously I don't know the whole story. Granted, I don't know the full story. I'm taking what you told me, and I'm not going to side with you, but I'm also not going to try and play you. I'm calling it straight down the middle, and we had one of those conversations where you tell me your story, I'll give you the take, and then I'll light you up, right? Because it has to be both. Like, yeah, I'll give you this objective statement from me, but then I gotta check you, because one, I don't want you calling me about this shit again, but two, you shouldn't let stuff like this bother you, because there's plenty of other worse shit that can be happening. And like I said, it's not with her, but it's a lot of people. A lot of people hit me up and they're like, hey man, let me ask you about this, or let me get your take on this, and I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? It's like from the bottom of my heart, it's greatly appreciated that people give a fuck about my opinions, because I am well studied, yeah, but I'm not like an expert on situations, but they treat me as if I am one. It's like, yo man, let me talk to you about this. I'm like, yeah, if I'm not high, if I'm just regular degular, I'll pick up and chop it up with you and get you together, because I definitely get you together. That's a fact.
I'm a good dude, man. Just be looking out, man. I be looking out. You got any questions for me before I wrap it? Good, don't answer.
What's your favorite memory of us?
Okay. That the one I was telling you about yesterday. So when it was, because like I said, it was my senior year, and me and Carl was going out a lot, like towards like the last couple of weeks, and we went to Ugly Tuna, and we were walking past Barnes and Nobles, right? And somebody yelled my name out of this car window, and I didn't know what it was. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, this is crazy. Like, hey, go me, right? So we keep going, and then you text me. I don't remember what you said, but you text me or whatever. So me and Carl in there, drunk out of our fucking minds, and I stayed off Wyandotte, which is a little bit far, and we walked. I'm like, hey man, I don't think we gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? So I called you. I'm like, hey, me and Carl drunk than a motherfucker. He's like, don't worry about it, I got y'all. And you came and picked us up. And I thought that was dope, man. Cause then you took us to McDonald's, right?
This is some real college
Yeah,
shit.
thanks, mom. You took us to McDonald's. and then you dropped me off, and then you came in to talk to me. I thought that was mad cool, because it's not even like relationship aside, love aside, girlfriend, boyfriend thing aside. At the end of the day, it's like, you really got to look out for that person to have their back, for them to feel any type of way about you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, I could tell somebody I love them, But you got to prove that. You got to show it to them. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was dope because it was late. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what the fuck did you call me for? Because I'm about to die. I got you. Don't even worry about it. And then you came out. I thought that was dope.
Still would. I'm not bringing you to McDonald's though.
Because I don't eat McDonald's. I don't eat McDonald's, so it wouldn't
Exactly. Gross.
But another one. I got another one. I remember I was packing because I was moving. I think I was moving back to Lorraine for a little bit. And you was, I don't remember what the fuck we was doing, but I'm packing my clothes and you was sitting on my bed and we was talking because I think we probably got into it probably like 2 days ago.
Probably.
Yeah, and then he was over there eating something. And I was like, yeah, because I was supposed to say, yeah, because I like you, right? But the word love came out. And then you got like this Cheshire cat grin on you. I'm like, look at this goofy ass motherfucker.
So we had a little bit of technical difficulty at the end, but the video cut off. But after that story, I mean, we were pretty much done with the conversation. Hey, shout out to Jasmine for this episode. Shout out to Sheree for the last episode. Honestly, man, shout out to everybody that participated in my relationship series. You know, all these videos are up on YouTube now. Plays are going up on the podcast because y'all just nosy about people's relationships. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. You know, hit that subscribe button for your mans. And now that the relationship series is over, not that I won't talk about relationships anymore. It'll just be a couple of episodes peppered in sporadically. But the conversations get deeper and more juicy. I already have like the next 3 episodes planned already. They're already filmed and everything. So y'all be on the lookout for these deeper, darker, more traumatic conversations. And anytime anybody wants to come on and have these conversations with your mans, I'm really good at getting people to open up. So thank you, man. I appreciate you guys. Until next time, good luck.